Morning, my rays of sunshine. I'm in the kitchen. We're going to be cooking. I got Trixie, my staffy at my feet. So, what are we going to be cooking? Oh my goodness. This is something you can eat for breakfast, for a snack, or just when you want something delicious as a treat. So, if you want to find out what we're cooking and have something good and good for you, come on back and join me. Well, hello there, and how are you? We're in the kitchen. It's always exciting when we're in the kitchen. And today, I have an oatmeal fruit protein bar that you can make two ways with just changing one little ingredient. And that's what we're going to get into today. So, get yourself something to drink, get a little snack, because you know, we're in the kitchen and cooking, you always get hungry. And we are going to get into this recipe. So, without further ado, sit down at the table and welcome to my home and let's chat. Now, before we begin putting everything together, I'm going to show you all the ingredients. So, I'm going to show you all the ingredients and then I'll be back at a different camera angle so we can start putting it together. So, I'll be right back. All right, the first thing we're going to do is mix our wet ingredients. So got me a little bowl. We're going to add 1 cup of milk. And it doesn't matter, skim milk, low-fat milk, 2% milk, vitamin D milk. It does not matter. Now, we're going to add 2 tablespoons of oil. I'm using canola oil. You can use any oil you want. Then we've got 1 teaspoon of vanilla. Now, here's where the recipe changes up. You can use a 1/2 cup of brown sugar if you want a more crispy bar. I like my bars a little softer, so I'm going to use a 1/2 cup of honey. If you use honey, your bars will be softer. If you use brown sugar, they're going to be more like a classic granola bar. I like the chewy granola bars. All right, so we've got our honey. Now, we're going to add 2 eggs. If mine don't roll off the counter. 1, 2. Now, while you're doing this, you want to make sure you preheat your oven to 350. So we're just going to mix all this up. The honey will mix up. And if you use brown sugar and you still have some granules, don't worry, because you're going to have granules because we're not heating it up. And if you don't heat up sugar, you're going to have granules. But remember, we're cooking it, so it's all good. All right, I'm just going to get those eggs incorporated. Get that honey incorporated. And that's it. Now, these are our wet ingredients. So let me set this to the side over here. Now, we're going to work on our dry ingredients. Right now, we're going to start on our dry ingredients. Now, you need 2 cups of quick oats. Now, you can use just plain regular quick oats and then add a little sugar to this. But I use the maple brown sugar and cinnamon instant oatmeal. And I have 2 cups of that. Now, if you use regular quick oats, just add 2 tablespoons of sugar. I don't need that because I've got that maple brown sugar and cinnamon in there. Speaking of cinnamon, I'm going to add a 1/2 teaspoon. So we've got 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon. Now we're going to put in 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder. Now we're going to add a 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Y'all know I use kosher salt. I just don't think iodized salt's good for you. And I'm going to use 1 scoop of unflavored protein powder. Y'all know I cook with protein powder, everything I do. So let's mix these up. Get these all combined. And like I said, if you use the just plain quick rolled oats, add 2 tablespoons of sugar. But because I used the maple brown sugar and cinnamon already flavored oatmeal, I didn't have to do that. Now, we're going to add a half a cup of chopped dried cranberries. Now, you can add any fruit you want, any dried fruit you want. Make sure it's a dried fruit. I like the cranberries. And I've got a half a cup of chopped pecans. And again, any nut you want. It was a cross between pecans and pistachios today. And I just was in a pecan mood. So you want to mix everything up. Make sure you get your fruit and your nuts all coated. That'll keep them from sinking in your bars, and it'll cook more evenly. All right, so we've got our dry ingredients. Now, we're going to add our wet. Our milk, our eggs, our oil, our vanilla. Add all that up. And we're just going to stir it up. Now, this is not going to be one of those firm granola bars. You know, the hard ones that you bake and get all crispy and hard. No, this is a more softer, chewy granola bar. That's just what I prefer. The days of the hard ones are gone. I don't eat a lot of hard, crispy, crunchy food. All right. So we've got this. All right. Now, here's the secret. You've got all your things mixed. Now, we're going to let this sit for about 20 to 30 minutes. What that's going to do is all those flavors are going to meld together. So, I'm going to let this sit, and I'll be back in 30 minutes. A second for you, 30 minutes for me. Remember, have that oven preheated to 350. It's been 30 minutes. Hey, it's thickened up. Oh, the oats have soaked all that up. And those flavors are melding together. I'm telling you. This is such a wonderful, like I said, breakfast treat, or just when you want something good and good for you. And if you compare the price to making this to those ready-made granola bars, even the Chewy ones, you're going to find this is the best way to go. So, let me set this over here. You're going to get a glass baking dish. This is my 8x8. Now we're going to spray it with some cooking spray. And anytime you put something in the oven that has egg in it, you want to spray with cooking spray. All right. We're just going to dump it all in. I mean, how easy is that? How easy is that? And we've got all the fruits mixed all through it. Oh my goodness. And you're just going to smooth it out. Look at that. Fruit and nuts are just mixed so evenly, distributed through there. Oh my goodness. This is going to be so good. All right. So now I'm going to put this in a preheated 350-degree oven for 30 minutes. And when it comes out, I'll be back so we can take a look at it. What'd you think of that? Don't they look good? Oh, they look so good. And they smell so good. The cranberries and the cinnamon. So, let's get one of these up. And let's taste it. You see the nuts and the cranberries. Oh, that looks so good. So, let's give it a taste. Like I said, warm for breakfast, a great snack on the go. This is the best granola oat bar you'll ever have. They're high in protein, low in fat, and high in flavor. I mean, high in flavor. Oh, goodness. Those big pieces of cranberry. I won't show my fork. I use a little fork. And if you're wondering why, because it helps you eat slower. And when you eat slower, you digest your food better and you fill up a little quicker. But sometimes a little fork, like nails, can get in your way. It's delicious. And it's still warm. Let's try this bite. We made it. You know, like I said, great for breakfast, a snack, or when you really want something good. But, you know, that is so good for you. And that is so filling. You could eat that anytime. That's good. Put any fruit you want. Raisins, apricots, anything, any dried fruit. Any nut. Like I said, I was out weighing pistachios or my pecans, but I'm glad I chose the pecans. The pecans go so good with that cranberry. And remember, if you want them a little firmer than mine, use brown sugar. Half a cup of brown sugar instead of a half a cup of honey. I just like mine soft. I like it more like a streusel. Oh my goodness. They're good. And they're good for you. Now, we're talking about protein. I don't know if you know this, but in order to stay healthy and to help you lose weight, which is how I have lost most of my weight, is on a high protein diet. They say to take your weight and multiply it times 0.7. And that's how many grams of protein you should have a day. I'm not on that pattern, but I do have at least 60 grams of protein a day. And that has helped me lose weight, have more energy, feel healthy. Oh, those bars are so good. Oh, they're so good. Wow. If you liked the video, give me a thumbs up. Give me a comment. Let me know what fruits and what nuts you would try in it. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, you need to do that because you never know what's going to come up on this channel. What we're going to be doing, making, eating, where we're going. You never know. But the one thing we do know, two things, is that at the end of the video, our time together is gone. But at the end of the video, we have positiveness. We have the insertion of God's word and a message that God puts on our heart to help us with something we're going through. So let's see what we have today. Isaiah chapter 43, verse 1. Fear not, for I have called you by name. You are mine. And that's what God says. You are his. Remember that. Walk like Jesus. Stay in God's presence. Study his word. Because you are mine. So, Lord willing, we have another video doing something else fun. But until then, remember, Genesis 31:49. The Lord watched between me and thee when we are absent from one another.